What's up, guys? John here. Universal basic income will now become a federal policy.
Pilot programs testing out guaranteed income are popping up around the country.
It's being tested in dozens of pilot programs across the country.
Jerome Powell, Janet Yellen, IMF, many billionaires have been speaking about a universal basic income and about the affordability crisis, record high inflation, and what we can all do to work together to combat this big issue. When you look at Minnesota, for example, they have just enacted a $100 million program to offer universal basic income.
Minnesota's Democratic leadership now proposing a sizable guaranteed basic income program.
Asks for $100 million for 2025.
$100 million. This came out 2 days ago, March 12th. Then you have LA. This came out 20 hours ago. And this is not just in LA, the entire state of California. Then you look at Texas. This came out today. They gave out $5,000 to 1,000 people, to 1,000 families. So they gave out $5,000 to 1,000 families. It might sound like, okay, maybe these are, sporadic type of situations. No. There's 200 cities right now that are enacting these policies. And there's a list of mayors, hundreds of them. I mean, it's literally basically the entire country moving in this direction. But a lot of people don't think this is actually going to happen. They think, this might happen 20 years from now. No. In the next year, 2 years, 3 years, you're going to see this popping up everywhere. You're going to start getting checks in the mail. Now, some people might say, hey, this is a really, really good thing. But what they don't realize is this money's not coming from thin air. It's going to come from increased taxes. It's going to come from massive changes to the overall economy. And I think that, the time to get rich is running out. So I'm going to break this down for you. I'm going to give you the facts to help you and position you to show you what's really coming so you can put yourself in the best position possible to get in front of this. Please hit the like button, people share the content, educate more people about what's really going on in the U.S. economy. I mean, look at this. This is for the entire state of Minnesota. In general, this is a basic income grant for the entire state of Minnesota. So I'm going to break this down. I'm going to show you the facts and show you how, the spending, you're only allowed to spend the money on certain things that are allowed. If it's not inside of that allowable list, you cannot spend it. It's a massive change that we're walking into. So please hit the like button. When you do, YouTube will share the content, educate more people about what's really going on. And if you get immense value from this video and learn something, please consider subscribing. It does a lot for the channel. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, any issue at all in your credit report, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. You can click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free strategy session if you have any issues on your report. So, take a look at this. Minnesota, guaranteed income program proposed $100 million. And so, what they're saying here is that it doesn't matter your income, your proof of residency, citizenship, identifying documentation, or any recipients. You basically just sign up and you'll start getting the checks. 18 to 24 months, $500 a month. That's pretty big, right? 18 to 24 months. Now, what's happening in California, though, I think is huge. I think it's absolutely shocking. So America's biggest universal basic mobility experiment is taking place in LA. And they say, in May last year, the Los Angeles Department of Transportation and LA Metro launched the biggest universal basic mobility experiment ever attempted in the U.S., giving 1,000 South Los Angeles residents a mobility wallet, a debit card with $150 a month to spend on transportation. The catch, and there always is one, funds can be used to take the bus, ride the train, rent a shared e-scooter, take microtransit, rent a car share, take an Uber or Lyft, or even purchase an e-bike, but they can't be spent on the cost of owning a car, owning or operating a car. So you cannot spend it on that. And the predictions by that, and they say that car ownership is going to drop immensely over the next 6 years, 80%. And it's all these different outlets. Curbed is saying it, Business Insider is saying it. You scroll down here, Wall Street Journal saying it right here, right? They're saying 80%. They're all saying the same thing, 80% reduction. And so when you look at how this is all going to work and you see how fast this is moving, it'll make a lot more sense. So for example, the year-long pilot ending in April has dual goals of increasing mobility for low-income residents and reducing greenhouse gas. It's a radical experiment based on a simple idea. People know what they need. Give them the money to go where they want to go, and they will improve their quality of their lives. It's the biggest experiment in universal basic mobility in the U.S., but it's not the first. and they list some other ones. But what they say here is they say, we're actually working with Caltrans to look at how we might do a statewide procurement for prepaid cards as a mobility wallet. So it's not just LA Metro or the city of LA, but any agency across the state, and that may be anywhere in the nation, could have the same purchasing power for these cards. Huh, interesting, right? Very interesting. So you look at the dates here. That came out 21 hours ago. So that's 20 hours ago. Then San Antonio, this came out about an hour and a half ago. Today, March 14th. Then we look at something very, very fascinating here. So they say that they're getting assistance here from this platform, Up Together. And so when you click on Up Together, and then you look at the CEO, Lofton Holder. Lofton was a co-founder and retired manager partner of Pine Street Alternative Asset Management LLC. Pine Street invests in seed capital with emerging hedge fund managers. In addition to providing transformational investment capital, Pine Street uses managed accounts and fund governance structure to ensure best-in-class fiduciary standards for portfolio companies. Obviously, the guy's a smart guy, right? He's a very, very educated guy, and he's the one that is, kind of driving this as the CEO of this. But then, I'm wondering, who's the donor list? Who's really supporting this? Because the money's got to come from somewhere. And one of the main supporters, or one of the somewhat bigger supporters, is something called the Mayors of Guaranteed Income. And so that sounded interesting to me. So I started looking them up, and you started looking at how many of them there are. I mean, there's literally 200 of them. 200 American cities are now in the process or working on. A massive social experiment is quietly taking place in some 200 American cities. What happens if you give poor people money, hundreds of dollars a month with no strings attached? These cities are running pilot programs that typically give randomly selected people $500 a month for a year or two to spend as they please. So you can see that this is working quickly, and this is moving quickly, rather. Now, what's fascinating to me is how fast this train's moving. In 2021, there was only 11 cities doing this. In 2022, there was 82 cities. So it went from 11 to 82 to hundreds over the last 3 years, 2.5 years, right? Then you look at this, House.gov. The Guaranteed Income Pilot Program, Act of 2020, would establish a 3-year nationwide pilot program that gives monthly support to payment to individual taxpayers between the ages of 18 and 65, right? That came out 2020. So this is not something that's just like, maybe there's a couple mayors out there that are just trying to do something big. No, no, no. This is where we're actually going. We're actually going here. Now, some are going to say we're going to have to do this because of AI. Like Newsweek says they reported Goldman Sachs recently put out an economic report that found that AI could expose 300 million jobs to automation in the US and Europe without some kind of new economic imagination. This kind of transformation would be catastrophic on almost every level imaginable. The technological update that AI provides will be useless if it is not accompanied by economic policy as well. And this is about universal basic income, right? And then you see what happened today with the inflation data. So what this is going to mean is that inflation is going to likely continue to get worse. Interest rates, we're not going to see a Fed pivot. So we're going to start to see an erosion of purchasing power on the dollar. And people are going to start demanding a solution. They're going to need a solution. And coincidentally, there's hundreds of mayors out there working on that new solution. And so you have to ask yourself, when you see, what's happening on the job market, what they're reporting, that hiring shows off the resilience of the U.S. job market. They're showing the economy is really strong. There's no need to pivot, right? You're seeing one thing very, very, very clearly, that taxes are going to continue to go up. So the universal basic income mainly going to be funded by tax revenue, new taxes, new services, new policies like this of trillions in taxes are going to be coming. So if you think about it this way, trillions of new taxes coming, a lot of money being put out in the circulation. Money printer is going to keep going. What is this going to mean? To me, it means that we probably have 24 months, give or take, 12 to 24 months to make as much money as possible, invest it as great as possible, build out a business as quickly as possible, supply a lot of value to the economy, deserve wealth, put yourself in a position to where, if you don't want to take a UBI, maybe for example, you're one of the 20% of people that want to own a car, because maybe 80% of people don't, right? If you're one of the 20% of people that want to own a car, and you can see clearly that this is where things are headed, then prioritize your goals in accordance with this. What do you think about this entire situation? Do you think we're walking into a scenario of a universal basic income on a federal level over the next year or so? Drop below, maybe the next 2 years. I think it's going to continue to ramp up. I think it's going to go from 200 cities, where we're at right now. It's going to go to 200, then it's going to go to 3 to 400, and probably by, I would bet, at the current rate, if we're going it and moving at the same speed, 11 to 82 to 200 inside of a 3-year window, it wouldn't surprise me to see 500, 600 cities by sometime next year, and then maybe some type of a federal move towards the UBI due to massive job loss. I mean, you're already seeing it right now. You're seeing a lot of job losses starting to ramp up. And then at that point, then we start moving in that direction. But I'm curious, what do you think? Drop below, let's have a conversation about this. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself for what I believe is going to be the greatest fire sale of assets we've ever seen before, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any issue at all in your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free strategy session for tomorrow, and I'll catch you next video.